right, we're live.
You're muted, Lawrence. You're muted, Lawrence. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, I'm unmuted now. So thanks for being on the call. I'm really excited about the call today. We've got something really exciting because it's completely out of the box, something that is worthwhile to see how leaders of leaders act, not just in their own businesses, but outside of their businesses too, and how the repercussions are in their everyday lives. So Dan and Jerry have, or at least Jerry has a program and invited Dan, and Dan was all excited. So now I'm all excited. So we've got Jerry Savage on, who's the author of this book called The 4 Pillars of Sales. And I highly recommend it. I have recommended it before. We've had Jerry on the call before. However, just a quick intro. Jerry is vice president of Max Orthopedics. He was 5-time President Club Award for Zimmer Orthopedics. And he's joined the business about 4 months ago, and he's a lapis, and he's placed about somewhere between 10 and 15 scanners in these 4 months that he's been in this business. And so I'm going to ask Dan to introduce what he did this week with Jerry, and this is really cool stuff. So, Dan.
Yep. So let me just share my screen. So I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that I actually did a course with Jerry, and he's got a horse leadership course. He's one of 200 certified trainers in the world. And so he started this program locally, and I was super excited to be part of it. And then I came out of it even more excited about it. So I just wanted to share it with everyone. And essentially it's just, Jerry can explain it a little bit more, but I'm going to show a quick video. It's about a 2-minute video. I don't know how that's going to come across. I've been having a lot of problems with videos, but I'm going to share my screen and let you guys watch this video, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Well, good morning, everybody. Today's program is Equine Assisted Learning, and the title of the program is The Art of Leadership and Team Building. The unique thing that happens here is that horses become very unique coaches.
This environment is really different. Being outside and being able to see people outside of a classroom or a boardroom or a standard hotel ballroom. I don't think this is something you can learn in a classroom. We're kind of out in the woods here with the farm, and you're one-on-one with these horses, and you're getting to experience what's going on with you because they're reflecting it.
And when you walk up to them, it's like, hey, how are you?
You are beautiful. Yes, you are.
They're right here in the center.
Being a human resources manager, one of the things that I really try to do is I try to find programs that are always going to help coach and develop and teach my leaders how to better interact with their people. So it was amazing to me that the horses actually mirror how you feel and what you do. So similar to individuals.
Which one would you gravitate towards the most?
I'd say Eli. I kind of like Eli.
When I approached him, he wasn't aggressive. He was very calming.
I have no fear of a horse.
Donna's going to walk around this pylon. She's going to go down to the one in the corner, and she's going to circle around that one. Communication skills, interpersonal relations, understanding themselves, understanding how to be the best version of themselves. The horse brings it out. Good boy.
One of the things that really excited me about this course was I had no interaction with horses prior to today. And they've always fascinated me. And I was just, part of why I wanted to attend this course was to step outside my comfort zone and get more exposure to the equine world, both interacting with the horses as well as learning from the horses.
Can I have him? He does like you. I noticed that. He's like.
This is just a connection that you're going to get within the first hour or two, instead of, what might take you years somewhere else if you ever even got there.
I think for leaders, it's really important because sometimes you may have to play a different role to get your team to be successful. And horses are similar. They can switch roles, and sometimes they're leading the pack and sometimes they're
they're pushing the pack, and how do the other horses interact?
This course is designed to offer people a window back to their intuitive self. And when their people are the best version of themselves, they end up communicating more effectively. They end up touching more lives. And you know what? That's really what it's all about.
So as you can see, it was a very interactive day. And, I've been a part of a lot of different trainings in my career. And I can honestly say that this was probably the most beneficial training that I've been involved with. And so, Jerry, if you could just maybe explain to us how you got involved with this, where the program came from, and what your goals are with this, and how you can use this equine leadership concept in every facet of your life. You're muted, Jerry.
Unmute myself.
There you go.
Some of you folks know on the call that that I was in the Marine Corps years ago, but I was brought up around horses, and I did a lot of riding actually when I was in the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps had good stables everywhere I went. So got out of it for a while, and then got back in, and with my daughter when she was younger, and when I moved to Pennsylvania, I actually started competing, and competed for about 12 years with 100 jumpers over fences. But I saw the way horses were, I would say, used. And I don't like the word used when it comes to horses, because in this sense, horses are our partners. And so I got more and more interested in it. And when I got to the barn that I'm at now, and you saw Donna Snyder, who owns this wonderful facility, I was taking a riding lesson one day when I was finishing the draft of my book, The Four Pillars. And she said, Jerry, she goes, I would really love to do some type of a program off of this. And so she wanted to partner with me on this. So I just started doing some research and found this program out of Germany, which was called Horse Dreams. And within a week, Donna and I were on a call with this woman in California, in Tamales, California, which is about an hour and a half north of San Francisco. And my father had passed away a few years ago and left me some money, which sat on my desk right in front of me in an envelope for 3 years. And you can't make this up. It was within pennies of what the course cost. And my father loved horses too. So I spent the money, and I went to Tamales, California, and wasn't sure what I bargained for, because it was the best, as Dan said, it was one of the best courses he's ever taken. I had to go through the course myself in order to get certified. So it was the biggest eye opener at 59 years old that I could ever imagine. So so where I'm going with that is that we're all in a business here and I consider everybody on this call an entrepreneur and a leader if you're on this call, because not only are you going to go out and seek financial independence, but in the process, you're going to build teams. And by virtue of that, you're going to be in a leadership position at some point, if you're not. Yeah, and so, I mean, when you bring on your first distributor, you're in a leadership position because they're looking to you. Same way that I've been in orthopedics device for 35 years, and I'm a vice president of sales in a medical device, not distributorship, but company that's in over 60 countries. But I manage the whole US. But what it does is it shows that connections are everything. So I connected with Donna, and then I connected with some people on LinkedIn. Then I connected with some people in Atlanta, and all of those people serve to help pull this whole thing together, Dan included. Dan has been a big supporter of the things that I've been doing. So the horse program is like this. The horses are great coaches because horses are intuitive. When I said it brings them back, there's an opportunity in this course to bring people back to their intuitive self. The course is called The Art of Leadership and Team Building. And a horse is a 60 million year old animal. Okay. And so a horse doesn't care whether, Lawrence or Michael or Jerry or Dan have had a good day or a bad day. They don't care. And guess what? They're not even going to hold that against you. They're herd animals. And because they're herd animals, they're also prey animals. If everybody know what a prey animal is, they're not carnivores. They're looking out to see where the wolf is, or where the next danger is, or where the hunter is, or something like that. So by virtue of the fact that they travel in herds, they have distinct leadership positions. And they have the leadership position in the front, they have the leadership positions in the herd, and they have a leadership position behind. So a representative model of that are 3 leadership positions. And so what I've done is put together, and the course did this, but put together scenarios where you actually work from those leadership positions with your horse partner going through courses, as you probably got a little bit of a glimpse of that. And what that shows is essentially what your leadership style is. And the team building aspect of it shows that whether you're in leadership position 1 in the front, or in the herd in the 2 position, or the 3rd, they're all equally as important. And so sometimes those positions are interchangeable. And so what we find out in the course is where people are most comfortable. Like, for instance, probably say behind, oh, lead from behind. Well, guess what? The stallion leads from behind. The stallion leads from behind because he can see the whole picture and the whole herd. But the people, the horses in the herd and the people in the representative model, if you understand what I'm saying, also have roles. Just like the role in the front is usually the mare. And the mare is saying, okay, well, we're going to go over here, and the wolf's over here. We're going to go over here. And by the way, we've got a little bit of time to eat, but then we're going to go over here. So the mare in the front has the vision, is the visionary, right? In the back can see everything, and that's the motivator, right? And then everybody in 2 has an important part, just like in a company. So horses do this for survival, and they will stand in front of a wolf to protect the herd. But it's intuitive, and so what I mean by that is that they're always present. So we lose that when we're young. We are very intuitive. We think and we feel and we act on what we feel. But as soon as somebody says, no, you're wrong, like you're going to the kitchen and two parents are having a fight, and you go, what's the matter? What's the matter? Nothing. Okay, so automatically the next time you're second guessing yourself, oh, nothing's the matter. Okay. And so as we get older, guess what? We also build limiting beliefs. And I talk about that part in the 4 pillars, limiting beliefs. So limiting beliefs will stop you from doing a lot of things. And those things start when we're really small, when we lose the sense of our intuitive self that the horses never lose. So by doing those exercises with the horse gives you honest feedback. Think about it. When somebody's in a classroom, we're on a Zoom call, and I can tell you all this stuff, and in 3 or 4 days, we're probably going to forget most of it. But that's the way we're wired. But when you do something, an exercise with a 1,000-pound animal, and all of a sudden that animal is reflecting back, whether you're tense or not tense, or whether you're walking with intention, man, you'll never forget it. I'll give you a quick example. I flew out to California. I'm running a company. I'm trying to start 3 different businesses, and I've bit off more than I can chew, which is just part of my MO. And so I'm out there and I'm all tense, and I'm thinking, I know all kinds of stuff about horses, right? But you got to forget that. This is designed for people that are in business that have never maybe even seen a horse or been close to a horse before. So I start leading this horse, and this horse stops and starts eating grass. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And so finally I got the horse to go around the course, and the thing is that everybody who's in this course gives you honest feedback, not there's no rights or wrongs. But just to tell you real quickly, and I'll leave you with this on this subject, is that horse saw that I was tense, that I didn't have, while I was thinking about what I wanted to accomplish, like I wanted to start my horse business. I wanted to grow my farm next business. The course is a representative model of the journey you take in your life for whatever you want to accomplish or whatever issue you want to solve. So when you're walking the horse and you have that in your mind with that intention, the horse will give you feedback to say, okay, this person's present, so I will follow this person. And if you're not present, the horse is going to recognize that and say, you know what, I'm going to stop and eat grass here. Or guess what, I'm not going to follow you because I don't think you know where you're going. And so the feedback I got from the group that day was, one was creativity, because I got the horse to do, to walk with me and everything like that. Somebody said vision without action. And that was months ago. I'm like, holy geez. I'm like, wow, that's right. Vision without action. I mean, I've got the vision, but I wasn't taking the action, or I didn't have enough focus to take the individual actions that I needed to take. Horse told me that in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Right? How many counseling sessions would you go through with a coach to figure that out? Right? Because we don't want to admit things. So the biggest thing that we all have in our lives are blind spots. Everybody's got blind spots, whether you want to admit it or not. And the biggest thing is we put up, when I said in that video that the horses are right here, they're at the I am, that intuitive self is free of masks. So as we develop our limiting beliefs and we learn how to function in society, we never show people our true selves, hardly ever. Who wants to be vulnerable? Nobody does, right? Or you don't want to show it, right? I mean, let's face it, we're in business, we're leaders, we're entrepreneurs. But the fact is that the horses will bring you there, whether you like it or not. I can't explain everything that's went on in that course because it's very personal. But everybody that comes to this course is going to have a personal experience. Everybody's going to take something away from it. And when I said it makes you it gives you an opportunity to come back to your intuitive self and be and a window into how to be the best version of yourself. That's what it does. And no other course that I've ever taken. I've taken all the sales courses. I wrote a book. All the sales courses that I've taken, I've sat in and I've taken notes and everything, and half of them I don't remember, or 3/4, but I'll always remember what the horse told me just by the nonverbal communication and the actions. So
there's a great John Maxwell quote that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And so, my biggest takeaway from that course was that, it's a 1,000-pound animal. I'm 200 pounds. But if that horse picks up that I have some inadequacies, or I'm fearful, or whatever it may be, they're going to pick up on that, right? And so your teams pick up on that as well. And so when we're leaders, at some level, you have to be vulnerable. But in other things, if you're too vulnerable, then people aren't going to necessarily maybe follow you because they feel like, there's an inadequacy there. So that's what I got out of the course. And I thought it was really interesting to be able to create that bond with the horse from a leadership perspective. And, it was a phenomenal day. And, I recommend it to anybody. This isn't trying to sell the course to anybody. It's just a different concept on leadership. And, Kent can probably speak to this as well, because Kent is a horse guy. And, we're going to open it up for questions. And if anybody has any questions, I'm sure, Lawrence, you probably have a comment.
I just want to make a quick one. First of all, thanks, Jerry. That's very insightful. And Dan, thanks for your input in this. I just want to mention something that the lady said at the beginning, and Dan and Jerry said, the horses mirror your feelings. And I just want to mention, I was in San Remo, Italy one day, and there was an equestrian class of kids, and they were all riding around in a circle, and suddenly somebody let off a really loud firecracker, and all the horses went all over the place except one, and the rider was deaf. The rider of the horse was deaf. She was the only one who didn't react because she couldn't hear it, and all the horses scattered because it was a reaction of the person who was riding. So anyway,
that's a good point. Horses will reflect back what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's important. So
But this also affects people. So when we're talking to people and we're listening to people, we pick up vibrations from them too. And this is all part of what we have that helps us build our mindset. But we've got to be intuitive. We've got to be open to hearing and feeling things that other people are transmitting. And this is an art of doing that. And that's how we can do it if we really listen to our sixth sense.
So that's another great point. If I can just comment for a second, Lawrence, in the four pillars, I talk about communication styles, and go back to Stephen Covey's book from 1977 or 79, the Seven Habits, and you talk about seek first to understand before being understood, and that's what. So what this does is it forces you to take a look at yourself and understand you, and the horse brings that out in you. Um, but you don't, in this exercise, you don't have to tell people when you're walking with intention, with a horse, with a vision in mind, walking a course. And you don't have to, when you get back, you don't, when you're done, it's a small few minute exercise. You don't have to tell anybody what that is. You can keep that to yourself. You don't have to wear your heart out on your sleeve in these, but the horse will tell you what you need to know, what you need to do. Um, and communication is so important. Nonverbal, just like in sales and anything in life, understanding somebody's personality style is really important. So that you can not put one over on anybody, but effectively communicate with them. Because you might have to adapt your style to somebody else's. But this more importantly, from a leadership standpoint, allows people to key on in a leadership style, understand, you'll key in on what your blind spots are for sure. The other thing on the team building exercise is it really brings out where the shortfalls in communication are with a team, and it will force you, because you're working with a horse partner, and the horse partner is part of your team. And if you guys aren't communicating, your horse is going to say, "I'm out of here." And there's a funny story about that, where these executives from LinkedIn were in this course and they were doing this team building exercise where they were doing the positions of leadership, one in the front, two on the side, one in the back. And they were arguing and everything else. And the horse just said, who was a really beautiful draft horse, Ian was his name, a fantastic animal. He just said, "You know what? You guys can't agree on anything. I'm out of here." He turned around and trotted off. So anyways, any other questions? I'd love to answer any questions you guys might have about the course or anything.
Hey, I love what you're doing, Jerry. We do equine facilitated psychotherapy here at the ranch.
Wow, that's awesome.
And my wife's a psychotherapist. So the horses here create miracles with children and adults. And everything you've said, I thumbs up. I love what you're doing and who you are. So thank you.
No, I really appreciate that. It's interesting. My back was really bothering me when I was out in California travel, I guess. We hadn't worked out in quite a long while. And we were doing this exercise, and the horse, we do this exercise. It's kind of like a meet and greet. Well, the horse came up to me, and the horse put his head right here. I mean, right on my side. And you can probably validate this, Ken. And so Elisa Aubrey, who was facilitating, she goes, "Are you hurting?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "He can tell." And
Yes.
I totally believe it,
Yeah, I 100%. I love your present. They're such a wise form of leadership. And I someday when you're in the Bay Area, you'll have to come by the ranch, because that was our dream. And we, my wife changes lives with the horse. The horses do it. The horses
they do.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do. And I will be out there next spring, because I'm going to take another 6-day course, and then I'll be a licensed partner for that particular program. But we're now working to build I think we can do a lot more with it. Like I can see coming from a business background, I can see that we can do a lot more. And actually tying in the four pillars aspect to it, which are honesty, integrity, knowledge, genuine interest, and I think that's important. And talking about from a sales and business standpoint, you have to have some things in alignment, and I think the horses can bring you right back to the center, and that is with the belief in your abilities, um, your knowledge, um, those things, those two things right there. If you have them in alignment, your belief in yourself, your belief in whatever product it is you're selling, and your knowledge base, they all have to be in alignment for you to commit to activities. But if you're not seeing things clearly, if you have things that are clouding your life and clouding things that are in the way of you succeeding in business, the exercises that we have designed with the course will help you in a way that you could never imagine. So
Beautiful.
Anybody got any other questions?
Well, this is Jim. And I found this very fascinating. I've heard, over the years, many things people learn from the horses. And maybe you've given this, Jerry or Dan, but what would you say for the person just watching this morning? What kind of action step could we take from learning this? What could we do next ourselves, even in a small way?
Do you mean not working? Do you mean not having worked with the horses, just in your?
Well,
What's the key takeaway from today's
your
conversation?
a key takeaway, and then also what steps could one take who's listening to this call?
Can I just say, your reactions are felt by others. So your mood is felt by others. So when you have a good, strong, a positive attitude, other people will pick up on that. Mm-hmm. When you're in a funk, other people will pick up on that. That would be my takeaway.
Okay. Yeah.
The biggest thing that, and here's something, and I'm Jim, I'm just thinking about this. I guess I'd say I'm spitballing this because I'm just trying to process what you said and what I would say. And so I'm thinking back on the actual course, right? And I think so you got to remember, you got a lot of people attending a course. And so one of the things we say at the beginning is that there's no right and there's no wrong, right? There's just data, right? So in society, everything is right. There's a right, there's a wrong, right? Just like I was telling my salespeople in a Zoom meeting yesterday, that let's ask better questions. What, instead of I can't do this because the company didn't provide this. I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of that. Well, how about the question, how can I do that? Right. And so the takeaway I got from this when I took the course, and I had people that I'd never met before that were just giving honest feedback, and they weren't saying, well, Jerry didn't lead that horse, right? Or he didn't do that. They didn't know. So they just saw what was reflected back. And I think what we can do for each other, I think is, and I do a blog too on Medium, by the way, and this is a reflection of that too. I just did an article. I'm happy to share it with anybody last week, and it's called Rise Up, and it was tied into this in a way, because we all have blind spots. So whether it's a horse showing us that or not, we all have blind spots. So if everybody on this call was interested in the well-being of everybody else and wants to see everybody succeed, then we're better served by not hanging out with the misery loves company crowd. They love to get new members. They love it. But But so don't hang out with them. Run from the misery loves company crowd. You don't need them. What you need are good friends and good colleagues that will give you a good swift kick in the ass if you need it. But they'll also be there to hear you, right? So I would rather be associated with those folks, and I think the people on this call are those folks, than the people are that I some of the businesses I've frankly been associated with, that say, oh, you can't do this because of that. You guys are asking the how questions. How can we do that? How can we be better? Just like I said, the horse allows you some insight into the best version of yourself by surrounding yourself with good people, the people that will tell it like it is, just like the horse. They will help you in that way rise to new heights. And I always say, is the view, the path is the path to the top of the mountain isn't really crowded. It's but when you get to the top, the vision's absolutely beautiful, right? The vision's beautiful, and it's a peak because there's not a whole lot of room up there. Because if it was easy to get there, everybody would be there, knocking each other off. It's not easy to get to the pinnacle of a career, and I don't think there is the pinnacle of a career. I think the other thing the horse teaches you is that you need to be a lifelong learner. And I say that you can say, well, that's everybody says that. But once you look into yourself a little bit and admit that, okay, I've got some blind spots, so I just need to do a little bit better in this area. So it just tells you to be the best version of yourself. So the takeaway, surround yourself by good people that will give you good, honest information and feedback, because those are the people that will bring out the best in you.
Okay, thanks.
I'm sorry, that was a long answer.
No, that was good.
I ramble. Dan knows I like to ramble.
Really, I never noticed. Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that the horses can teach you is, the inadequacies that you may have, and if you have inadequacies, like I said, they're not going to follow you, and they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to let you lead them or lead with you. And so, I think that's important in what we're doing, because we're all leaders. We all have teams. we're all leading somebody, and to be able to lead effectively, you need to not only lead people but also show them how to do it. We're doing that on a daily basis. We're showing other distributors how we do the business. We're showing physicians how to run this program in their offices.
Right.
And we need to be resolute in what we're doing, so that they know that you know what you're talking about, that we what we have is real. The science and the technology is good, but when you have some inadequacies in those areas, people are going to pick up on it.
Yeah, if anybody would like to hear any more about it at all, please feel free to, you can, if you're not friends with me on Facebook, friend me, or LinkedIn, it's Jerry Savage, obviously you can see with a G. And I'm going to have I have a website that's just about done. It's 4pillarsconsultinggroup.com. And that's going to have more of the horse leadership stuff on it, hopefully in the next month or two.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Jerry, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dan.
you're welcome, guys. It's good to be here. Good to be with you.
Thanks
and,
to everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
have
Thank
a
you,
wonderful-
Very
Information.
Good
Have a
stuff.
great weekend, everybody.
have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
weekend.